Hey everybody, it's Party Lead here with another episode of Total Breakdown. The coverage of the Warhammer Fantasy League continues with an engagement between Viking Cats Tomb Kings and Romulan Dogs High Elves from a couple of weeks ago. To stay up to date with the tournament, make sure you follow the link in the description down below. We begin of course with talk of composition and deployment, and as you can see the High Elves made the very conscious effort to not deploy amidst this very interesting center of the battlefield. But first let's take a look at the Tomb Kings. They are led by High Queen Khalida atop a chariot, backed up by a Lich Priest of Death on foot. The front line consists of the Tomb Guards with halberds as well as the Kepra Guard Tomb Guard Regiment of Renown, while on either flank we have the Skeleton Warriors backed by a unit of Ushapti. In the middle here, we've got Skeleton Archers as well as the Blessed Legion of Demonetization, and right behind them is Rear Guard, a unit of Skeleton Spearmen, while all the way up front we actually have the Ushapti with Great Bow as well as the Chosen of the Gods acting as artillery pieces, hoping to get some damage in right from the get-go as the enemy has to close the gap. Then, off to the side over here, we also have the Eyes of the Desert Sepulchral Stalker Regiment of Renown tucked away, able to intercept enemy cavalry as they are anti-large and armor-piercing in melee, but they are also able to get some damage in as the enemy closes the gaps with their range capabilities and then push in for rear charges if the opportunity presents itself. Now let's take a look at the High Elves again, making a very conscious effort there to deploy off to the side. I think it's because they didn't want their shots to get blocked by any of these trees in the middle should the engagement happen over there, and would much rather prefer the engagements to take place in the open ground over here to get maximum efficiency from their range capabilities. I'm curious if that was the actual reason. A very good call, I would say, if it was. Now, compositionally, Teclis is in charge on horseback, alongside two nobles on horseback as well. These guys are both anti-large and armor-piercing, so that's a good call if you're facing up against a lot of constructs. Up front, we've got 4 units of Spearmen, right behind them 3 units of White Lines of Shrace, and then back here 2 units of Phoenix Guard. These guys are anti-large and armor-piercing as well, so great call there. They also have martial mastery, and they have physical resistance, so overall good pick, I would say, against the Tomb Kings. While all the way back here, 2 units of Lothern Sea Guard just getting a little bit of that range support in, and if push comes to shove, they are anti-large as well. So let's kick it off and see exactly how this all breaks down. Again, an interesting call there to deploy off to the side, but you can see the Tomb Guards are, or the Tomb Kings I should say rather, are immediately responding. They're pivoting their entire army here, getting ready to engage as the Sepulchral Stalkers are pulled back and the Ushapti with Great Bow push forward and begin firing away immediately. Again, there's a long way to go still, a huge gap to close here, so the Ushapti with Great Bow pick and choose their targets and decide to fire in to the Phoenix Guard over here, and that is a great call. Again, these guys have martial mastery, not just martial prowess. They have a lot of physical resistance as well, so trying to get some damage in nice and early, reduce their capabilities when they push into melee, because of course if their health drops below 50%, they will not have martial mastery anymore. Meanwhile, over here you can see Teclis has popped Flock of Doom, just trying to get some hurt into the Kepra Guard as well as the Tomb Guard with halberds, doing a touch of damage to the Lich Priest as well as these Skeleton Archers as well. So very good placement of the spell. They're getting maximum efficiency, I would say, out of it, while you can see the Sepulchral Stalkers now creeping forward, stalking forward as well, hoping to get some damage in as these lines are slowly trying to close the gaps here. So in comes those shots, still hoping to take care of the Phoenix Guard, doing a fair bit of damage. They're dropping their health by about a fifth or so, and you can see now the Sepulchral Stalkers as well firing away at some of these Spearmen, hoping to get some damage done as they close the gaps, and then very quickly, very promptly turning around to avoid an engagement here. Of course, they don't want to get bogged down by the Spearmen, and you can see as these Ushapti with Great Bow and the Sepulchral Stalkers as well, as they fall back, all the way back here, the Skeleton Archers are able to open fire. They're focusing in on the Spearmen over here. Unfortunately, they have silver shields, so they won't take too much damage, but very nice to see that movement there, these guys being pulled back. They're not able to fire anymore, and so in come the Skeleton Archers instead, but you can see again, very minimal damage being done there until the Spearmen turn around. That's a bad call. Their shields are not on their backs, so now they're actually going to take a fair bit of damage from that volley. Morale is dropping a fair bit as well, so bit of a bad call there. Could have just given a halt order as the White Lines of Shrace follow through, because they would ideally get the engagement against the Tomb Guard with halberds instead. In the center, meanwhile, you can see the nobles are chasing down the Sepulchral Stalkers as well as High Queen Khalida. The Kepra Guard there dive in to intercept, and you can see the Spearmen over here as well about to charge in, and the Sepulchral Stalkers immediately turn around to get involved. Now all of these Skeleton Archers are focusing on these White Lines of Shrace. Good call there. White Lines of Shrace do not have any shields, so they will take a fair bit more damage, and you want to try and reduce their capabilities before they actually push in. Again, they are armor-piercing, and they're a pretty capable unit in melee. Off to the side here, you can see we've got these Spearmen pushing in, but the Ushapti and the Skeleton Warriors push in to intercept. They don't want these Spearmen to push through and get into these Chosen of the Gods or in against these Skeleton Archers off to the back over here. And at the same time, you can see we have the Purple Sun being cast among the Phoenix Guard. Again, good call. They're just trying to cause as much damage as possible to the Phoenix Guard, get them below that 50% if possible, but unfortunately that sun just moves off to the side and doesn't do all that much. In the center, meanwhile, you can see the Spearmen are falling apart. So too are the White Lines of Shrace, but the Noble is doing decently, while the Phoenix Guard now closing the gaps here. In comes the Venom Wave, doing a fair bit of damage and ultimately forcing the Spearmen to give up on the fight, and the White Lines of Trace as well, dropping their morale significantly, while the Phoenix Guard over here, still just above 50% health, are trying to close the gap and get some work done while they still have Martial Mastery active. Phoenix Guard over here as well getting involved. The Ushopti here are an ideal target, so they push in to try and get some damage, and while off in the distance, you can see the Lothern Sea Guard are getting some shots in, while over here the Sepulchral Stalkers firing away at the Phoenix Guard again, just trying to get them below that precious 50% hit point mark, while the Kepra Guard is actually falling apart due to all of that damage coming in from the Phoenix Guard. This noble pushes in as well, hoping to get some damage into the Eyes of the Desert, while you can see the Phoenix Guard over here are eating a lot of damage from both of these skeleton archer units, taking a lot of hurt from both angles, and very soon about to lose that Martial Mastery. Great work there, using the archers very effectively, and you can see these Sepulchral Stalkers over here. They are anti-large and armor-piercing, so they will put up a fight against the noble over here, while off to the right you can see the Ushopti and the skeleton warriors here not having the best of times. They do need a little bit of support, while these Spearmen were able to get back here and push into Khalida, so the Ushopti over here pushing for an interception, while another Flock of Doom goes in just to cause some serious hurt to this right flank over here, I think, to drop these skeleton warriors, and also cause a touch of damage to these skeleton Spearmen, and ultimately finish off the Kepra Guard, who are already crumbling as well. You can see as well, though, Teclis is now the focus of a lot of range fire. He's taken a fair bit of damage, and in response we have the Enfeebling Foe going down on the Tomb Guard with halberds. Good call there, maybe a little bit too late though, as you can see that left flank has already been largely won by the Tomb Kings, but Teclis now is falling apart. Pops the Potion of Troy to try and stay alive, but Spirit Leech and all that range fire is coming in and it's doing a lot of work. Ultimately he is forced to rout, and you can see the front lines are not going in favor of the High Elves whatsoever. All of that range support from the Lothern Sea Guard isn't doing enough damage. The right flank is sort of going in favor of the High Elves, but ultimately the Ushopti are coming out on top now that they've been fully involved, and you can see the Spearmen there have given up, while over here on the left flank, these guys are giving up as well. The Phoenix Guard have given up on the fight, and in the center we have an absolutely glorious purple sun going down, destroying this unit of Phoenix Guard, devastating their hit points, devastating their morale as well, and the nobles too, taking a touch of damage from that as the Sepulchral Stalkers charge in, hoping to do a touch of damage of their own as well. And you can see now, as these rallying troops are being sent back in, the Lothern Sea Guard continue to fire away, trying to get some damage into the Ushopti over here. They are a very threatening unit, trying to provide some support to the White Lines of Trace on this right flank, and back here you can see the nobles now pushing in, trying to chase after the Eyes of the Desert here, but you can see a fair bit of damage being done into the nobles as well. I think a lot of focus from these archers, while the Flaming Sword of Ruin is activated just to increase the amount of damage being put out there, and you can see we have the third Realm of Souls activating now, and a great call to bring the Ushopti in right back here. You can see the Lothern Sea Guard are starting to rack up some kills now. They are starting to get some damage done, but the Ushopti here brought in from the Realm of Souls have something to say about that. Of course, the Lothern Sea Guard are anti-large, so this isn't the ideal situation for the Ushopti, but they are shutting down that range support, so good call ultimately. While to the left over here you can see we have a Flock of Doom going down, again just trying to reduce the Tomb Guard with halberds, free up that left flank, win that left flank, and then chase after some of these archers, push in against the Ushopti with Great Bow as well if possible, as all of that range focus comes in, chasing after these Phoenix Guard over here. They are completely shattered, of course, and you can see the Ushopti with Great Bow continue to focus in on the Lothern Sea Guard now, hoping to get rid of that range support, as that right flank now is in a bit of a precarious situation, though Khalida is of course able to push in and provide some support, uses the Venom Wave once again to absolutely devastate the White Lines of Trace, while the Skeleton Archers now providing support to this left flank, damaging these White Lines of Trace as well as the Spearmen. But take a look over here as the Phoenix Guard very carefully and sneakily creep up alongside these Spearmen as well, so very nicely done there, just sneaking up from two angles, trying to shut down I think some of that range support, so nicely done. But you can see up front over here these White Lines of Trace have completely given up on the fight. They are routing, freeing up both Khalida as well as the Ushopti, and you can see they turn around to respond right away. This Ushopti unit over here pushing in against the Phoenix Guard, while Khalida over here pulling back, providing some shielding I think for the Blessed Legion of Demonetization. The Spearmen have to pick a better engagement, and you can see the archers continue to fire away into the Lothern Sea Guard and the White Lines of Trace back here. The Ushopti that were brought in from the Realm of Souls have given up on the fight, but they did their job. They fulfilled their duty, kept those Lothern Sea Guard preoccupied for long enough, and you can see over here the Ushopti now completely destroying the Phoenix Guard as the Skeleton Archers fell back into safety. And the Blessed Legion of Demonetization continues to fire away into that left flank, doing a fair bit of hurt. The Noble, they're doing a lot of work there against the Tomb Guard with halberds, but of course, the Tomb Guards with halberds were already very low on health. Despite their anti-large capabilities, they will get taken care of. But over here, you can see we have some more shatters going down. The Lothern Sea Guard trying to stick and fight. You can see the Sepulchral Stalkers over here not having the best of times, as these guys are anti-large. The Ushopti here aren't having the best of times either, but of course, the Great Bow Fire is doing a lot to provide some support. Just take care of the Lothern Sea Guard from a distance, and you can see over here as well, the Phoenix Guard just not having the best of times. Over here, here, though, that left flank has been won, and they are pushing in with full force against the Ushapti over here, hoping to take care of these guys as the skeleton archers continue to fire away. And take a look at that volley, doing so much hurt as Khalida as well pushes in a topper chariot, hoping to get a nice charge in there, but these guys rout, so there's no need for that charge. Focusing now instead on the noble with all of that range support, and you can see the noble as well giving up on the fight, completely routing, while all the way over here, this noble is coming out on top against the Ushapti over here, using regrowth to keep this bad boy alive, keep him fighting, and give him that extra physical resistance, while the Lothar and Seaguard, again, just trying to get some damage in there, but again, all of that range support coming in from the Ushapti with Great Bow, trying to shut these guys down and eliminate the High Elves from the field. You can see Teclis has stayed hidden, has kept himself alive, used whatever he can to stay healthy, but unfortunately that's just not going to be enough as the noble gives up on the fight. The rest of the army just completely routs and shatters, and Teclis ultimately turns tail and runs. Khalida brought with her a superior ranged force, and the fact that the High Elves were unable to shut them down meant Teclis and all his high-tier units were plump targets for constant fire. Ushapti with Great Bow are devastating, and the added help from the blessing of Asaf makes a world of difference. The Tomb King frontline withered away rather easily, but the constructs and archers won the day for Khemri. As always, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more Total War content and keep sending in those battle replays. I do think it's one of the best ways to learn, and it's always nice to highlight such amazing battles from the community. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.